All right, hi everyone. Heath here again with another Tech Talk. What we're going to be covering today is the not printing with white ink. It's basically some of the options of what you can do with, say, your light colored garments. Kind of talking on those. They are one of the easiest. They definitely can be your biggest money makers, just because it's one pass, less ink, and same kind of turnaround. So time is money in this industry. So the quicker you can get stuff off the machine and quicker you can get the print head moving again, is the quicker you're going to be making money. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and turn on our camera here. Let's see. If you ever lose camera options, you can always click down on the little blue snowflake that's down at the bottom of on your taskbar. That'll be the webinar. All right, so this is a different version of the M2 called a dual Cmyk. Let me roll you over here so you get a better look at it. Oops, sorry. Okay, so when looking at this, that's what those little extender pipes were for when you first got your machine. The only drawback to converting to a dual Cmyk is that you would not have the ability to print with white ink. Okay, so you would not have the ability to print to any dark shirts or underbase anything, right? But the dual Cmyk does have its benefits in the fact that it can put down twice as much ink as the standard Cmyk set. So you can print at higher resolutions and still get better coverage, so you can speed up the print times. A lot of companies that get these are the ones that are really high level of production per day, 100, 200, 300,000 shirts a day. So that way they completely commit one machine over to just dual Cmyk to do their light colored garments. All right. So, but you can switch back and forth. As you can see, I can switch these off and take the damper sets off and kind of set it up to do dual Cmyk or. Now, there are certain options with the standard set that I can show you some that can speed up your production and things like that. So we'll cover those today. So we'll be both doing, I'll show you what kind of the speeds and stuff with the dual Cmyk set, and also just printing with the 4 colors, which were your standard 4 would be these left 4, black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. All right, so let's get into this stuff. Okay, so I've already pre-treated a couple shirts, so that way we can go through that. Move the camera up here a little bit. Pull this out. All right. So I'm just going to do a couple prints on the same design on one shirt, just to kind of show you what different options you have for printing without white ink, and then we'll kind of work our way up. So, because the different print resolutions that you use, you can also get the higher speeds, but sometimes you lose image quality. So we'll kind of take a look at it so that way you can choose and at least know where to go to change these settings to kind of play around with them to see what works best for your output. All right, standard tuck-in. Yeah, one thing I always try to do is never try to stretch the top layer of the fabric, so I always kind of lift up from the bottom. So that way it just kind of skews the shirt, and I also try to keep my hands directly across from each other, so when I tuck it, it pulls evenly. All right, let's see here. Up button until it stops. I like to always scan the shirt just in case that I have something tucked underneath. If I heard that bed start to drop real fast, then I would know something's up underneath it, and I would need to adjust that. All right, once I get it in the cover, we're good. Hit load. All right, so let's choose an image now. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to turn off the camera for just a second, so if you lose video, like I said, just click anywhere on the little go to meeting section. Like sometimes I'll click up at the down here on this taskbar and click on that little snowflake down there, so that way it'll refresh my video and stuff. Okay, so now I've got my my RIP software here. So everything we're going to be dealing with is in the white shirt cues. Basically, the white shirt cues are basically do not print with white ink. Do I have to print only white shirts in here? No. I can print colored shirts in here too. I'm just not going to be able to print white ink on them. All right, so say I'm doing any of the lighter shades other than black, and I want to put black lettering on it. I'm just going to use this cue right here. Black can make anything blacker. So if I wanted to put like navy blue on a baby blue shirt or anything like that, I would just print navy blue to the baby blue shirt. Those corresponding colors, it'll make it just a little bit deeper shade of a blue. Same thing with like a pink, and I wanted to print red lettering to it or a darker pink to it. I'm just going to print it darker directly to it. Now, if I was going to print something like royal blue to a yellow shirt, those are the primary colors. So what would happen on that would be the actual prints would mix, the colors would mix, and you would have green lettering. So you got to be careful with that. So you just got to think about what you're printing to and stuff, and then we can go from there. All right, so let's start off with some standard prints here. I don't have a dual Cmyk queue set up yet, but I'll show you how to do that as well. If you want to convert that stuff over, I recommend getting on the phone with a tech before you convert over to a dual Cmyk, so that way we can give you the proper instructions on how to do so and get you the proper components like parts and things like that. All right. So let's see here. Let's go with the standard, say, white best. Let me pull up an image that we can print. Let's go here. I'm using the Adobe Bridge, which comes with any of the Adobe products, so that way I can scan through different formats of files, JPEG, it shows them all in thumbnails. So it gives me an easier way to view my images. So let's see if we've got something that's got some color in it. So that way it shows the like the print quality as it's printing. Let's use I'm looking for the stuff that has like the white backgrounds and stuff. So let's use something kind of solid. Let's use our little inked girl right here. So let's double click on that, opens it up in Photoshop. All right, so this is going to be what it looks like on a white background. Let me add a solid color here. If your screen is at all covered up with the GoToMeeting like thing, if you don't have any questions, put it in the questions field. They're up at the top. You can actually minimize the GoToMeeting control panel. Instead of hitting the X right next to it, it's like unlock control panel from the screen, or you can minimize it up to the top. So it's up to you. All right, so I'm going to drag this color fill down here to the bottom so I can see what it looks like on a white background. Okay, looking here, it's got a lot of nice vibrant color in it, so that way we can see like dark areas, light areas, stuff like that. So this would be a good little test. So we'll call that Ink Girl PSD. Let's go over here to the RIP software. Let's start with our best queue. What makes this the best queue is the print resolution. We just name it that, like best versus fast, right? So once I double click on this little Q tab here, then we have the print mode. The print mode is up front in the white shirt print modes because it's a single layer. The black shirt and color shirt queues basically have layers turned on, so I'd have to go into my print mode overrides and my layer profiles. All right, so the different print modes I can choose from here, I got a lot of them here. But the ones that are for white shirts that are not designed to go on top of white ink, like with underbase graphics, that type of stuff, those are the ones we'll choose for our light garments. So we have the 1440 by 720. All right, that's a higher resolution, so it prints slower, but it also has more dots per inch, which gives it a little bit more clarity. So it also puts down a little bit more ink as well. Then below that is your 720s. All right. I'm also going to show you how to create, and we're actually going to have these created because we've started to get into a little bit more of a high production value versus we want to get more speed but with good coverage, so that way it is faster production. So I'm going to show you a print mode that we're developing right now, and it's actually going to be installed very soon. So we'll be sending out like a little notification or have it posted up on our website when that update is available. All right, So from here, we're going to choose, right now it's set at 1440 by 720, white shirts, photo new. So some of them you'll notice that have graphics in the name versus photo in the name. Photos are self-explanatory. Those are the things that have like realistic color. So that way so skin tones look better, sunsets look like they have the same colors, those type things. But the ones with graphics are more of like your cartoonish type of graphics, stuff that has real solid colors, real vibrant, solid tones. So that's why we have two of them. Not every color profile fits for every type of graphic. So that's why we're using more than one. So I'm going to choose this, this white shirts photo new at the high resolution, and we're going to print this image and then see kind of how it looks. All right, so let's import that ink girl. Let's go over here to ColDesi art. Ink girl. And I'm going to shrink it up a little bit once it comes in here, so that way we can print a couple of them at the different resolutions. So let's see, let's make this like 8 inches tall. We're going to move it up here in this top little corner. There we go. Let's go ahead and rip only. Let me make sure my ink prices are set up on this queue real quick. We're going to do that at the P30i standard. At the Pro package ink levels. 139 for the colors. The white ink is 149. If you want information about how to get your ink prices to the Pro level, please contact Coleman & Company, and they can tell you what you need to do to get to that level. Okay? Let's go ahead and hit OK. All right, so let's go ahead and process this. So this is going to be 12 cents of ink at an 8-inch tall print. So let's see how this actually outputs. All right, so let me switch back. Actually, I got to get the printer plugged in and port configured. Got a powered USB extender, so that way I can have the printer on the other wall with the computer in front of me. Right here. And to repeat, if at any time you have any questions or you want me to clarify anything, just fill that out in the questions field of the GoToMeeting control panel over the side, or GoToWebinar control panel over to the side. Okay, so let me go through port configuration. I just plugged in this printer to this computer. Let's go down here to this queue. Sure it's plugged into this one. Yep, it is. Okay. So let's hit print, and then I'll turn on the camera. So right now with the queue that I'm using, all right, this is the standard queue. So even though I'm using the dual Cmyk printer, it is not using the other 4 channels. It's using the standard 4 channels of a regular M2. So this is a 1440 by 720 white shirt photo print mode. So definitely looking pretty good. I'm going to switch back over. I'm going to leave this running. I'm going to switch back over to my RIP software, and I'm going to set up one with the graphics instead of the white graphics instead of the white photo. All right, so graphics best, just to verify that it has that print mode, 1440 by 720, white shirts, graphics new. Okay, let's import that same ink girl. at least turned off the mic for that. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's go back over here to the software real quick. I'm going to turn the camera off for a second. And we're going to click over here to fast. Now these other two print modes are new right here. These are the 2-pass. This is basically a simulated process print. So it does 2 colors at one time and then comes back and hits it with the second 2 colors on the second pass. Play around with it. It doesn't speed up any kind of production, but sometimes, if you're doing like fine art, t-shirt printing, or really trying to get a certain look or something like that, sometimes these play out really well. So that's why those were created. It's there for your enjoyment. All right, so let's go to the fast. We'll do the photo first. So we'll import that same image. Oh, I've got to change my template first. I have same turned on. Okay. Inked girl. Do 8 inches tall. Move down here in this corner. All right. Unfortunately, I cannot do another image with different settings right here in the Oh, the batteries are starting to go dead on this. Let me check this other one. Sorry, guys. All right, check, check. Okay, can everybody hear me now? All right, good. It's my little Britney Spears microphone. Okay. So the discernible difference between these things when you're printing a lot of vibrant color, you really can't tell too much. So it does pick up some speed when you go to the lower print resolution, so definitely try those out. And actually, you can't tell too much difference. Now, the bottom ones are definitely wetter at this moment, so then the tops have time to soak in. But you really can't tell too much discernible difference between left and right, and top and bottom. The only time it really matters to do the higher resolutions is if you're doing finite artwork, really tight, crisp lines and things like that. So try these lower print modes, pick up speed, pick up money, basically. Okay, so let me show you another print mode it's in development, and there's going to be an update coming out soon. I'm going to put this one over here as a comparison and hoop this one up real quick. Normally I would have this on a hooping table and stuff, but we'll just do this quick. Alrighty, so let's show some cool stuff here. There we go. I'll back that up a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me turn off the camera for a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new cue to play around with. I don't like messing with my defaults, just for the fact that what if you forget to turn something back on? So think about it that way. All right, so I can do this anytime by going to Manage Cues. This will have a list of all the cues that I'm using. So here are the names. Right now I'm in the white graphics fast, so I'm going to make a copy of that one. All right, so I have it highlighted, and I click copy. So now it drops a new one down here at the bottom. It says copy graphics fast 1. So then I can click on its little properties button. So I can call this speed. Okay, so from here, I can't really, there's not one lower than this, so I'm going to have to go create one. All right, so I click OK. I'm just going to leave this alone. Okay, close. So now down here at the end, I have my speed one. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and play around with the print mode. So I go to Devices, Manage Print Modes. These are the given print modes for the M2. All right, so the one that I was on, that's graphics speed. So that would be a 720, where's the white shirt was? Yeah, there they are. 720, or no, I'm sorry, 720 by 720 white shirt graphics new. Let's make a copy of this. Never want to mess with the originals. So I copy this one. We'll call this one 720 by 360. I might have to rename that, but 360 white shirts graphic. Okay, so now I've got this little copy, or I'm going to double click it, go into its options. Separation curves, they're all the exact same because they're a copy of the original. But now I've got my resolutions I can play with. These are the technical print modes. All right, so there's a bunch of different options in here. But just remember, don't mess with your originals because some of these can really slow down your printer, like the 2880. Those print really slow. You're talking about like probably like a 20-30 minute print. And unless you're printing to a piece of canvas, that really doesn't matter. So we've got the 720 by 360s and the 360 by 720. All right. So the difference between the two is the 360 being first is how far with the print resolution as dots going across, and then the 720 would be the how far it advances before it does the next band. So for more clarity, this will pick up more speed. This will pick up a little bit better clarification. If you go too low, then you'll definitely have banding. All right, because you're printing to a T-shirt. You got to remember that. All right, so from here, I go to that. 3 passes fine, everything's fine. Click on save and close. So there's that one there. It's just called copy up. So let's hit close here. Now I'm going to double click from my new tab. Then that one should be available in here. Copy of 720 white shirt graphics new. Let's click OK. Now we'll import that same inked girl. We got a new shirt up there, so we'll do it up here towards the top at 8 inches. Right about there. Have not done template adjustment on this particular printer. So let's hit rip only. 4 cents of ink. Let's hit print and I'll turn on the camera. All right, let me move this down out of the way. So let's hit print. Let's go back to camera. So let's see how fast this thing is printing. So you can tell that the shirt's advancing quicker. All right. So let's see, if you step back from this, which one's the best? You can't really tell. So it's one of those things, it's all relative. But if I can print that faster than I can print any of those, which one makes me more money? All right. So let's see, let's set up a dual CMYK print so that way y'all can see kind of what it does. All right, white balance. Let's see, there we go. Okay, well, I'm going to click off the camera anyway. All right, so now we're going to create a new queue in my white shirt queue, or I'm actually going to create a new group. All right, next would be queues, manage queues. So let's see here. So there's my white shirt ones. Let's see. We're going to make a copy of the, so I can always move these things around by the little spacers there. So let's make a white graphics best real quick, but I'm making a dual Cmyk. All right, so we'll make a copy, drops it to the bottom. All right, cool little thing I can do here. Let's go, let's move this over. So with this is the group that it's in. These are my groups, black shirts, color shirts. Watch this, I can make a new group. Call it dual Cmyk. All right, so now I got a whole another group over here. So let's hit close. So now I've got this here. All right, so now I'm going to rename it. White graphics best. Well, we'll just call it white graphics for right now. You can, as you're creating these, you can sit there and name them, like you make a copy of this one, and you could say, you can make a production queue, you can make a speed queue, and you can make it like a fine queue as well. So we're doing a lot of output of ink and a little bit output of ink. So the first one we're going to start with, I've got to create a new print mode, a dual Cmyk one. So we'll go back up here, managing print modes. Let's move this over here. So we'll do white shirt graphics, make a copy of it. We'll call this dual Cmyk. That'll work. So now I'll double click it, change its properties, go down to printer options, and we've got to choose dual Cmyk. All right. So then with dual Cmyk, hit save. So that's a 1440. Let me make sure we got the, so that's a 1440 by 720. All right, so that's a standard quality mode. Let's change this since we want to see how much speed we can pick up. Let's do that 720 by 360. And we'll pick up some speed and make it go to 2 pass. And that'll be good. Close, and we can choose that one. Dual Cmyk. Okay. Choose the ink girl. And then when you can actually download or watch this video, so pause and do the adjustments. I know I probably did go through that pretty quick. There's going to be a test at the end of this, and you have to repeat everything I said, so be careful. All right, so we're going to do this one over here, right next to the, that was the speed mode of the standard print mode. This one's going to be the dual Cmyk. And then I'll do the quality in the 720 down here as well, so you can see the differences. All right, so let's rip this. 8 cents. Loader. So you can definitely see a speed pickup there. So you're definitely getting more ink coverage because you're using twice the amount of ink because you're doing dual CMYK, and you're getting the speed of the speed print. So then at the higher resolutions are almost unnecessary. So let's see, we'll do a 720 here at a dual CMYK and then the 1440 by 720 there. All right. Here, I'll just leave this over here. All right, sound is back. Little microphones eat through batteries. Is everybody good? Okay. All right, so 720, when you get into playing around with these higher level print modes and stuff like that, there is going to be a certain level of playing. But just remember, don't change your defaults. So that way it won't take you forever to get back to it. Okay, so that's the 720. That was the 360. That one's already done, but I just want to make sure. That's good. And then the 1440, which I think is way overkill. So 1440 by 720. Just for that, well, I'll just show you kind of what it does. So we'll go apples to apples. That would be like for this one, if I wanted to do some finite artwork or something that has really tiny dots, I would probably take this down to VSD4 for like canvases. So that way I can get this high resolution for really fine dot size, and it just prints a little bit finer because you're still playing around with canvases and dealing with trying to recreate artwork. Depends on what you're trying to do. We'll put space right here. Okay. So I had to create a separate one. So this one, I've got to change that out. So this is going to be the speed. This shall be production. Oops, I forgot to change the print mode here. So that'll be the 720 by 720 dual Cmyk. And this one will be fine. And that's the correct one. Oh, no, I gotta choose this one. Okay. And then I'm gonna go back in just so I don't forget and get rid of that other one. Oops. Okay. Okay, cool. So those are my three: speed, production, and fine. All right, so we have done the 360. I think that was a 1440 before, if I was not mistaken. Let's just start with the fine. We'll do production first. Okay. All right, so inked girl. $0.17. So it starts getting up higher in pricing there. But with putting that much ink down, one thing you'll notice if you start really looking at the artwork, you start losing some of the detail in the darker areas because it's putting too much ink down and it's basically losing the detail. It's like oversaturated. So I lost some of the details like right up in here, some of the shadowing, whereas this you can definitely see it right up in there. So it depends on what you want it to go through with your artwork. So that's at a 720. So that's way too much ink on there. All right, so doing it at the 720 by 360 is even better. So let's see if we can do that, make it even go faster. And still get a decent amount of ink coverage. All right, so we'll go down here to the RIP software again. Let's do the speed, but instead of doing one pass or two pass, we're going to do one pass. It'll actually pick up more speed. Verify the print mode, 720 by 360, import. Click on open. Oops, not that one. RIP only. Okay. Back to 8 cents and print. Switch back to the camera here. So yeah, look how far the platen advances every time. So the whole point of this is when you're looking and standing back here, they really do look almost identical. They have some variation between them. So if you think about this, using the faster print modes makes you money. So let's see how close I can get you in here. So the difference isn't really that great. Now that bottom one right there is definitely too much ink. It's even kind of bleeding a little bit. So you got to be careful with putting too much down. So these were standard M2 settings right here. Standard with just the 4 of the CMYK. This is the dual CMYK with the higher modes. This was a single, this is the standard M2 right here. That's done with the created print mode 720 by 360, which is a little bit lighter than your other modes, but it does print faster. All right, these are your dual CMYKs. If you try to go higher than a 720 by 720, then it's probably going to put too much ink down because it's using twice the amount of inks. So these are the 720 by 360s. This is with a 1 pass. This is with a 2 pass. So it just depends on how you wanted to take it to what you need it for. All right, I hope this is giving you some direction to kind of how to play with the dual CMYK, the faster print modes for the standard M2 setups with a 4, just the 4 CMYK. So if you do have any further questions at all that are a little bit more detailed, please contact us on the support line, and we can explain some of these things and go from there. Hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, and talk to you soon.